Hey guys, Adam here. We're getting ready to go to Down the Road Farm in New Lexington, Ohio. Saturday morning, the end of October 2016. Just heard about the whole WWOOF'ing experience not too long ago, where basically you go, WWOOF'ing is WWOOF. It's Worldwide Organic Farming. I'm sure there's another O, whatever that means. I don't remember. But anyway, you basically go work on a farm, get education or food, or some people do long-term WWOOFing and might stay a month or 2 or 6 months and basically get a free place to live and some food in exchange for some work. And for me, I would like to start a small CSA.
In 3/4 of a mile, turn left onto North Bridge Street.
Sorry about my directions. Anyway, for me, I would like to start my own CSA someday. I'd love to have some acreage, 30 to 50 acres, have a small tiny home, yurt community, mostly vegan based. But anyway, I would like to have maybe a tiny home community where people could come in and stay for a little while, or also have some yurts for vacation travelers. I think Ross County, especially if we can finally get the UNESCO designation, if Obama and Congress ever pays our UNESCO dues, that worldwide Chillicothe will be put on the map, and it'll be a huge benefit. So they just need to pay the bills. So pay your bills, guys. I don't know what you're doing. You're elected officials and you're not paying bills, and that's just completely wrong, especially with how much you take of our tax money. So anyway, I'd love to have a farm someday. So today is the first day. I'm going to volunteer.
In a 1/4 mile, turn left onto North Bridge Street.
Today is the first day. I'm going to volunteer from 10 to 6. The host there, Lauren, I can't remember her husband's name. Anyway, she said she could prepare a vegan meal for me for lunch, which is kind of cool. So for you vegans out there, if you want to check it out, especially if you're in Ohio, check it out, Down the Road Farm. And somewhere down at the bottom of this, I will include the link to their Facebook page and also their website. So they've got a pretty cool website, but it seems like they mostly sold stuff in Lancaster, maybe at the farmers market, and then they also did a CSA. So hopefully they'll be willing to do an interview on camera. That would be great. Thanks, guys.
Turn
and
left onto North Bridge Street.
Alright, looks like we're getting closer. It says a half mile. So we'll see what we're looking at here. Should be getting close. It's called Down the Road Farm. And it says destination on my right. I don't see anything.
Started our garden. There's a little bit, most of the crops are pulled out for the year, but we've got some cover crops in some of the beds. This is what's left of some kale that we had planted. In this row,
So what do you have? Looks like irrigation here.
Yep, we ran drip tape. We have different spacing on the drip tape. I think this is 6 or 8 inch spacing.
And then where would you get the water from that?
So we gravity feed it, so you can't see it from here, but there's a tank that we have elevated up there at the top of the hill, and it's a gravity fed system. So we get really good pressure down here. We get not such great pressure up there. So we might look at setting up a pump or something in the future, but it works pretty well with just the gravity fed system. And we just bring that up we pump that up from the house to the tank, and then it's gravity fed throughout there.
And then so crops you still have in here are, is that kale?
This is kale. Yep.
All of that's kale?
Yep. Pretty kale, but yep. And then not much here.
Yeah.
We've just got some stuff.
And it looks like you had some big stuff there.
We have some rhubarb that we just put in. Those were kind of fledgling starts, and we have some asparagus fledgling starts. They're both cast-offs from another farm. We're giving it a try.
Okay.
And then we have some herbs, some mint and oregano that we cut way back. So there's not much there at the moment. But another row of cover crops. Another row of cover crops that we got in. You can tell we got those in 3 or 4 weeks after the other ones.
So the jalapenos.
Here, yep. A lot of jalapenos. There's also banana peppers. There's some Carmen sweet peppers, some bell peppers, some standards. You're welcome to help yourself to those too.
Yeah, maybe the bell's not the jalapeno. So.
And then this is one of 8 or so tomato rows we had. We've almost all, except for those 2 sections, taken the tomatoes out at this point.
So it looks like you stake them, but then you run a wire across.
We do. It's called either, people call it a Kentucky weave, a Florida weave.
Trellis.
You essentially take you put it on both sides of the plant to hold it upright.
Okay, I see it.
You kind of hold it up. We do that with the peppers, eggplant, tomatoes. We do them all with that weave method. This was one of our flower rows. So here in the foreground we've got snapdragons. These are making a comeback. If we don't get frost, I'll have a whole nother round of cuts off of these. There's some celosia past that, and then we had zinnias on the other end that I've taken out at this point. But these are some of our flowers, and we do for a number of our flowers we do this sort of lateral trellising to help, because some of these
you
can
just
see
support
when
it a little
they
bit
don't
more.
get support, they tend to flop, and you end up with this kind of zigzaggy cut that isn't all that useful in a bouquet. So it helps keep them, and then you can raise it. You can keep raising it up as you go. So as they get taller, you can move the level of support up and down. So that's good for all kinds of flowers that are grown that way. Another row of cover crops.
And those will come back year after year, so you don't have to replant.
No, the snapdragons we grow as annuals. This goes out. This was a whole row of zinnias. Those are gone at this point, but we did those in plastic for the first time this year. We've normally just done those right in the soil, but we have a lot of problems with fungal diseases on the zinnia, and having them in the plastic was really nice. Zinnias are big enough that they tend to shade out weeds, so we didn't so much do them in plastic because of the weed pressure, although that helps. But it helps with the splash, so you don't end up with soil on your leaves when it rains, and that's how a lot of diseases spread, is soil borne. So that we had a really nice zinnia crop this year, so I was really happy with that. And we run drips under all that too. So there's a emitter.
Okay.
So there's a hole in each slot. And then these two are, we can't see much at this point, but we have flower bulbs in these. So tulips, alliums, and lilies, mainly lilies that we do in here. Again, for cut flowers.
You guys must have spent a lot of time getting that drip irrigation system down.
Yep, it takes a long time.
And that's a lot of...
Every plastic you see, there's drip running under it. So all these ones that are cleared out, including the one on the other side of the eggplant, were all tomatoes. And there's 3 or 4 plants between the poles, and then each one has a drip emitter.
There. Zach didn't want to make the video, but he just made the video.
Oh, that's funny. I probably didn't want to. This is our eggplant. You're welcome to help yourself with some of these as well. We have the Italian ones, which are the sort of the larger, more traditional ones. And then we also have Asian eggplant, which are more elongated.
Is that the green one? Is that what that's called? Or the white one?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then we also have purple Asian eggplant that are elongated like that as well. And these start under row cover because they're really susceptible to, we have a big problem with pests on these, so we keep them covered up. And then once they get, so they're kind of they're wanting to grow out
They're
at
on
the
their
top of the, then we peel it back. And at that point, they're large enough that normally they can kind of fend off whatever.
Now these you have to plant every year too, right?
Yeah, pretty much everything is an annual so far that I've shown you, except for the flower bulbs, of course. But here we've got some matted rose strawberries. So this whole section of strawberries. We've tried doing strawberries 3 different ways. We've done them in raised beds, like you saw down at the house. We've done them in matted rows like this, and then we've done them in plastic, which is what the 3 rows that have the white cover are.
Okay.
And the plastic is by far my preferred method. These are matted row. This is impossible to keep weeded. I mean, you can tell even now I've been over this a number of times and it's still not great. They're just, it's hard. And with
so matted row, you basically
you just let it take over a strip. Yep, you just let it have at it.
Place to walk basically to pick the tomatoes.
Yeah, and then the thing with strawberries is that you
strawberries.
don't want them to have contact with soil, because if the fruit touches if basically a dirty strawberry, you can't sell, because you can't wash a strawberry. Like once you wash a strawberry, it starts to deteriorate pretty quickly. So you don't wash it before you sell it. So basically, a dirty strawberry is one that we're going to keep for ourselves. So I feel like we have more rejects that come from the matted row versus the plastic, where they're less likely to be coming in contact with the soil. But we got a lot of strawberries off of this year, so I mean, I was relatively happy with it. And then these are the 7 rows of garlic that we have planted so far. That's about 1,400 heads there. Those are about 30 feet long each. And then we're going to be planting some more. These are blackberries. So we just kind of got some of those started, and some of these are more established. And these are thornless blackberries. We mainly gave these through our CSA. We didn't really have enough for market, but they were really nice. We had plenty for the CSA, which is really nice.
And then these are the strawberries here.
These are strawberries.
So is it all on plastic?
It's all on plastic.
And then,
so
instead of doing the matted row, you're actually growing them through the plastic.
You grow them through the plastic, and these are a little overgrown at this point, but like basically what you're doing is you're cutting back to a crown rather than letting it mat and take over the whole area. You keep cutting it back, so it's really just growing around the opening, and then that has irrigation under it. And then you keep it, rather than mulching it with straw, which is what we'll do with the matted row over the winter, which is also kind of a pain labor-wise. And then this is our the main upper. We call that field A. We call this field B, which is on our map. This we just showed. Most of this is cover crops at this point, but we had it in various crops earlier. We had what all did we have? We had mustard greens, we had collard greens, we had kale with chard, top soy, pak choy, head lettuce, loose leaf lettuce, arugula, spinach, lots of greens up here, carrots, some other things. Now it's cover crops.
And I noticed your drip irrigation coming straight here. I mean, obviously you're really not growing it in the winter, so you really don't worry about the line freezing because there's nothing running through it?
Nothing running through it, and we'll probably end up actually winding this up and storing it in the barn before winter.
I was going to see how it might get brittle.
Yeah, just to keep a little more life in it. This was a mixed flower row. We had various things. This was marigolds here. Most of it's come out. There's a few of these things that are perennialized that we'll keep in there. And this row we had beans in. This was our pole bean row. This is where we're going to be planting garlic this afternoon. And then more cover crops. These mainly are peas down here. Cow peas. This is a new strawberry bed that we planted. This you can see. This is less strawberry.
Okay, so this one's just getting started.
Yep, we just planted these this fall, but this will be really nice.
So when you plant that, you're basically tilling it, putting the plastic down.
We run drip under
then-
it. Yeah, putting the plastic down. And then, yeah, and then afterwards coming through with the hoops in the row. And then this is all basil. It's kind of overgrown at this point. We haven't been cutting on it for a while, but there's still plenty of good basil in here.
Mhm.
You're welcome to help yourself too. But and then out there, the only thing we didn't grow in the fence was we had some potatoes back there. Things don't the
Don't like
leaves
the
on
potatoes.
potatoes are poisonous, so nothing really bothers the potatoes. So we did grow those outside the fence.
Didn't know that.
But
So how do you fill this thing up? Do you have the top open and
we
let
fill
it rain?
it through the top, and then we pump it up from the house.
Okay.
And then from here we just had like this drip. We had a drip line that went out to the potatoes. We have, and then we have like a line. He kind of rigs it up so that we have lines that run down there and lines that run here to feed the drip, and then we have a couple hoses where we can we can move around and we can hand water stuff too. But that's the
pretty
bulk of
neat.
it. If you want, we can go over to where we got the garlic stuff. We can